Hey, y'all, welcome to the Winning at Life podcast. You know, the show where we're winning. I'm your host, Gregory Ricks. Been doing radio for a long time and now doing podcasts for a while in financial services for a long time. And got a great show for you here today. It's going to be the mid-year financial checkup, but a little late. How's that for you? I've just got some cover I want to cover with you. I've got an article that went out by NOLA.com not long ago. You can reach out to us, info@GregoryRicks.com, how to connect to our articles that are published monthly with different financial topics, as well as more content that we have. We can also go find that over at GregoryRicks.com. So I guess I'll start out with a shout out to the sponsors that help make this possible. J. Heath and Company CPAs, MortgageGumbo.com with Dwayne Stein, W.J. Blanchard Law Estate Planning, NewOrleans.MosquitoJoe.com, Pat Huber with First South Farm Credit, JJS Audio and Video, iHeartMedia, and Gregory Ricks Total Wealth. I think I have to say the last two are pretty important because I wouldn't be in radio if it hadn't been for iHeartMedia nudging me into doing a live radio show a long time ago. And then my day job, CEO, founder of Gregory Ricks Total Wealth. You know, when people ask me, well, what got you into financial services? Well, compounding interest. I loved it as a kid. It's one of two things. I like the math of compounding, and that fascinated me. And my other love was to take things apart. When I was a little kid, that was problematic because I wasn't too good at putting them back together, and then I became great at that as well. So my love of compounding, you get to appreciate because that's why I'm doing a financial show. I have a financial advisory firm where we help people grow their money. That's our objective. And give advice, give income planning, retirement advice, be that sounding board as well. Be sure to subscribe to the Gregory Ricks Total Wealth YouTube channel for on-demand financial content. New Winning at Life podcast episodes are posted every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Hey, do this for me. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be alerted whenever we release new content. And you know what's really good? Tell others the story. Tell them about what you've found. So one of the things I want to talk a little bit about is the mid-year financial checklist. I know it's a little past the mid-year, but is it ever too late to do a checkup from that standpoint? Did you do a mid-year financial checkup? It's essential to ensure our clients are on track for their financial goals and prepare for any surprises. Here's some of the things that you should include in your checklist. Travel and savings expenses. Review your travel plans. Confirm reserve funds and compare actual expenses to the planned budget. Most people have to set aside money. They have to have reserve funds and maybe budget that into their savings. And where are you on your savings for your next trip? And then you got to dig in to make some travel plans, do research, find out, price of getting there. Let's just say you're going to the Amalfi Coast. I know that you're saying, well, Gregory, that's a big one. Well, I'm just going to give you some examples of what pops to mind, but you got to figure out what airline am I going to take to get there? What can I afford as comfort on that? And then, where are you flying out of? Where are you going to end up? Amalfi Coast, you're probably going to end up in Rome. And then you got to figure out how you're going to get from there to Amalfi Coast. You're going to, I'll call it a taxi, van service, train, or even their version of black car service. So you got several different levels to get there. And then you got to figure out where you're going to stay, and then a food budget, a shopping budget, and then where else may you venture from the Amalfi Coast. I've done that, so it's a pretty fun trip. You'll spend a little bit of money, obviously, but whether you're wanting to go there or Colorado or San Diego or the Cayman Islands, I can name a lot of places, but that's kind of what you got to get through. Once again, review travel plans, confirm your funds, and compare actual expenses to planned budget there. Next is adjust W-4 savings. Check that federal and state tax withholding, and make sure that matches your income changes, preventing surprise or surprises at tax time. Either way, how you look at that. So one of the things, if your tax bracket's gone down, you might not need to be withholding as much. Maybe you should get a little bit more back. For workers, I don't like you using the IRS as a piggy bank for the purpose of paying in more and getting some money back. I'd rather you do that monthly through your savings account or a high interest account. Now, if you're a business, I look at it a bit differently. I kind of want to overpay and push that over. If I'm having to pay taxes, and I'm paying taxes every year, and I've got a business that's growing, which is how you should look at it, you should be growing. Because if you're a shrinking business, then one day you go out of business. So we want to be the other way. We want to be a growing business. So I like to leave money over. So that way, if I came up short, or I've got money to push in the next year. I've been told it reduces audits because you're paying ahead, and you got to pay them every quarter anyhow. And once again, I like doing that monthly as a business owner. So look at your W-4 withholdings. Don't use that as a savings account if you're a W-2 worker. Emergency fund and hurricane preparedness. We're kind of in the midst of hurricane season, which it seems to stretch longer every year. So you want to make sure you have some money put away for that, and maybe a situation where you can access cash on hand quickly. So you have a little bit of money in your pocket if you're having to evacuate. When the digital world is powered by electricity. So if you run out, you can't use your credit card, you might have a little bit of cash on you at times. I went to a burger place last night, and I was going to pull out my card to swipe because I'd done an online order, and then pulled up and waited for it to be ready. And I'm like, oh, I didn't have my wallet with me, but I had some cash on me. So I handed them the cash. Fortunately, that worked out good for me. I didn't have to walk back because it had started raining. I was going to walk in the rain twice to get my money. So it's always good to have a little bit of cash on hand. So emergency fund and hurricane preparedness. Emergency fund could be your AC breaking. I think I'm kind of the guy with bad luck on ACs. It seems like every month there's some, well, I won't go to every month, but it kind of seems like every quarter I have one of those systems acting up. It's annoying, just saying. Insurance review. Assess your policies, your home, auto, life, as well as disability coverage for adequate coverage and possible cost savings. And make sure you've got adequate coverage should something happen. Now look for not only are adequate coverage, it also might be time to maybe price shop to make sure you're getting the best value on that, or note when the anniversary is. But looking for gaps in coverage as well. Retirement contributions, that's pretty important. Evaluate your 401k, your IRA, and other retirement vehicles. Adjust contributions as financial situations shift. Hopefully, we're adjusting upward and can increase. If you're, just thought going through with somebody said, "Oh, Gregory, I can't get started on it. I've got to pay off some credit cards. And I don't have any emergency savings." Well, you got to get used to living month to month on credit cards, not with a balance. So month to month means every month you pay off your credit cards. You need to have emergency fund established. But if you're still solving those, you still should start putting money in your Roth account or your IRA or your non-qualified investment account. You should be investing money for the future. Why? You're missing out on compounding into the future. You can't go back and recapture those lost years of compounding. And then I kind of already talked about this a little bit, but quarterly tax payments for business owners and gig workers, ensure your quarterly taxes are up to date. Don't get behind on that. That's a little bit of a monster if you get behind. And I like paying them electronically, and I kind of prefer to pay that monthly. And we've created a spreadsheet to look at how much income every month and what I'm likely to owe in taxes. So I pay that and look at that every month to make sure I'm ahead. That's kind of one of the things I check from a business standpoint on where do I look numbers. So remember, I like audits. I like you to do a monthly audit on your cash report. How does that compare to previous months? So how is that doing? And how are your expenses looking comparable to previous months? A couple other items on the checklist, which I just mentioned: debt management, review progress towards loan repayments and consolidation strategies, and investment performance. Assess returns relative to your goals and rebalance portfolio if necessary. And along with that, you should be doing that once again. Where do I stand cash-wise on a monthly basis? All right. Now, the next kind of topic is quarterly check-ins are designed to be both thorough and proactive. As far as working with a financial advisor, working with us, we like to review the goal progress, analyze your advancements and setbacks in your financial plans. How is that going? Are we on track, or is there a setback or adjusting for the future? The other thing we look for, we assess changes in circumstance. So life's transitions, marriage, divorce, job change, inheritance. How could that impact strategies? Tax efficiency. Look for mid-year savings opportunities, review capital gains and losses, and leverage tax-advantaged accounts. Risk management. Examine insurance needs and emergency preparedness. And then, do we need to do any portfolio rebalancing? Ensure portfolio is aligned with the latest goals and risk tolerance. And then, once again, we encourage clients to voice questions, shifting objectives, or concerns, so adjustments can be made promptly. That's one reason do annual reviews, but when we have our client services team members and analysts check in with our clients, it is on a quarterly basis. That it is a check-in slash checkup slash how are you doing? And then we have some idea or value add that will give you for a reason to call. Maybe something we're doing, a program we've started, or something to tell you about. But those kind of, what we're looking for is how are you doing? Is there any questions, concerns? Because we lead a busy life. So that's one reason I think it's important. And that helps us keep up with you on that preparedness. Documents to review at mid-year: bank and credit card statements, investment and retirement account statements, insurance declarations, recent pay stubs, confirm your tax withholdings. I'll bounce back to insurance declarations. That's your home, auto, life, and make sure your insurance coverage is where it needs to be. Tax documents, if there were any major life changes, projections, may be helpful. It's always a good time to think about beneficiary designations. Has something changed? Do we need to make any changes there? IRA beneficiaries as well. Are they up to date? Most common financial mistakes probably folks make in the first half of the year, they ignore budget reviews. You might not have done a monthly budget audit or a monthly cash audit to kind of see where are we? Are we better or are we worse? Neglecting emergency savings, focus on investing or spending and losing sight of liquidity needs. Your investment account is not your emergency account. Overlooking tax adjustments, not updating your withholding or ignoring new deductions and credits. Let's not give extra money to Uncle Sam. They're not a good spender of it anyhow. Impulse spending. Failing to deploy windfall strategically. What if you did get that refund or you've got money coming back, let's do something good with that. One of the things, and actually this morning I bought a couple things that I was putting off. I kind of said, I keep looking at it, putting it off, and it's still there. And I made a couple purchases, but it was kind of some tools and stuff that I needed. And I don't think it's wasteful. I just I don't need it. I'll do it later. But I spent a few minutes and took care of some things that I wanted to. So it wasn't impulse spending, because how I counter impulse is I'll go put something in a cart and then I'll say, well, I'll think about it and come back to it tomorrow. And then typically I don't go back tomorrow. I might go back next week or next month. If it's really important to me, I'll go back and do it. But if it's on a whim, I'm not going back to it. So it's kind of a good idea to put a 24-hour pause on shopping like that, or what you put in the cart. Sometimes they help you out by emptying your cart. When you go back, it's not there. But some of them have figured that out, and they go remind you that you've got something left in your cart. Darn. Hate it when that happens, huh? Okay, next. How often should financial goals be revisited? Ideally, formal reviews occur at least biannually with an extra review after major life events: birth, death, divorce, job change, or significant market movements. One of the things you got to look at when I kind of talk about that for folks nearing retirement, you got to start looking at what balance or your allocations as you're moving closer to retirement. because you're probably going to have to take some of the assets off of the risk side because you have to start shifting to planning to take income. We'll probably have a podcast where we talk more about that specifically. And I kind of talked about that last week when we kind of talked about the invest 50-50 and the recent study I talked about on investments versus annuities. We're doing some more research. We're probably going to have a part 2 of that podcast coming up in the near future. And budgeting recommendations for families: create realistic budgets, track actual expenses for several months to form a truthful baseline, emphasize flexibility, build room for occasional overspending without guilt. Hey, life happens. Automate where possible, savings, bills, investments, especially savings. Put some away every paycheck, or investments that should be automated. Your 401k, money coming out of your account going into your Roth. Reduce the friction and foster good habits. I like regular family meetings. Promote shared goals and accountability with your spouse. Have a monthly meeting and talk about that. And gosh, we got to have some fun. Let's allocate some fun funds. Prevent budget burnout by intentionally set aside discretionary dollars. Go have some fun. Real quick here, advice for those behind on savings: don't panic, start small. Even small, consistent savings matter. Prioritize high interest debt and emergency fund. Automate savings. Pay yourself first. Incremental increases. Raise savings rate after raises or paying off debts. And seek financial advice. It ensures you make the most of limited resources. Gosh, that was a whole lot in there today. I could keep going today. I want to talk about debt, value of working with a financial professional. We'll get you some more of that here soon. If you're looking for more information, you're looking to work with a financial advisor, reach out to Gregory Ricks Total Wealth. The phone number is 504-832-9200. The email address is info@gregoryricks.com. The website, you got it, gregoryricks.com. Be sure to check out upcoming events, including webinars. We offer in-person meetings as well as virtual meetings. However you want to explore starting a conversation, just reach out. Let our team know that you'd like some help and you want to come in or do a virtual meeting. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well for more financial content. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week to the Winning at Life podcast. Keep winning.